Hello and welcome to the Quad Down Podcast. I'm your host for this evening, KI Coaster Guy. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, as usual, Taylor from Flight of Taylor. How's it
Hi.
going?
Good. How are
And
you?
Josh from Station Wait. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done. How you doing, Josh?
I just want to point out, top of show, that Larry always calls it Quad Down Podcast, but all of our branding is officially Quad Down Pod. So Larry doesn't even know the name of our show.
No, it's the and
Wow.
no, I don't want to. I could call it a pod. It's a podcast.
But it's the Quad Down
podcast.
Pod.
I'm gonna call it.
Do you
the
say Quad Down Pod when you introduce us, Josh?
I think so.
I just say Quad Down.
Okay, well,
just like us, the DOJ is tearing apart the merger.
It's all over. It's all over.
All over.
Yes, indeed. The Department of Justice has launched an antitrust review of the Cedar Fair Six Flags merger. So, you've got people on Twitter today that think this means the end of it all. It does seem to be in part normal procedure. See here, we have antitrust experts and not Alan Beck. This is, I'm quoting an article from Cleveland.com.
The trustworthy Cleveland.com.
The Cleveland.com, the famous, world famous. Of course, the DOJ is going to look into this. I think they would be failing if they didn't. So, we'll have to see what this means. It's possible that they'll be made to make some kind of concessions. I'm seeing here that some analysts think they might end up having to sell off a couple parks or something in order to get it approved.
I mean, just my opinion, and I am not a lawyer. I did not go to legal school. My area of quote-unquote expertise in law is more copyright because that was classes I took. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt here. But, don't they do this for literally every acquisition and merger?
Any big one like this.
Yeah. Activision, Microsoft.
Right. And often those companies are made to make certain concessions, but they'll still usually, I feel like if Activision and Microsoft can merge.
Well, my understanding of that merger is that basically Microsoft just had to admit, PlayStation is better than us. It's basically all they had to do.
Well, they had to lie about some things.
Yeah. Well, it's subjective. Basically what they came out with, they said, PlayStation is beating us in console sales, which is true. Yeah. You just admit a little bit of the truth and a dash of that.
They had to make other concessions too. They had to.
That's about the extent of my familiarity with that. Do you know what kind of concessions?
Yeah. They had to. Well, so they had to commit to continuing to release. Those, Call of Duty games and stuff
on PlayStation,
which they were going to do anyway. Yeah, they were going to do it anyway.
It's a money move.
There were some other things that they had to. I don't know all the details, but yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens with this.
I saw people freaking out because there was a refiling last week. And then the DOJ asked for more information, which people are like, "Oh, they're deep diving them." They're doing their job.
Yeah, we want the government to do this. There should be somebody regulating these giant, consolidations.
That's controversial, Larry.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Wait. So. We're freaking out because it might not happen, but when it was announced, everybody didn't want it to happen.
No, it's gonna happen still, I think.
It's gonna happen, but
yeah.
There's a fantastic El Toro Ryan video where he breaks down this might be a majority share of theme park industry, regional theme park industry, to be very specific. However, they're not looking at a monopoly for the regional theme park industry. They're looking at a monopoly for the entertainment industry. And when you consider everything that comes with the entertainment industry, whether that's skydiving, flights, cruises, all these, not flights, skydiving, cruises, concerts, Cedar Fair and Six Flags are still a tiny player in that game. like astronomically small on the grand scale of
keep
things.
In mind, that's like that's like maybe an argument that could be put forth, but that doesn't necessarily mean that would hold up.
I mean, I would recommend watching the video. Obviously, I'm giving a summation of like a half-hour video here.
But
he breaks it down a lot better than I do. But yes, Taylor.
Ticketmaster should definitely merge in here too.
Oh my God!
Cedar Point tickets.
Oh God!
$30, $500.
Six Flags Ticketmaster. Apple. That would be a scary company.
It'd be a terrible company.
But yeah, no. Bottom line, though, this is the kind of thing that happens when two giant companies try to merge. So it's no reason to be concerned yet. If that was something that you were really looking forward to. Yeah.
Of course, stay subscribed to Quad Down Pod for up-to-date news.
For updates. Absolutely.
For weekly updates, because I don't think we said it last week, but we're back weekly.
Yeah. I think we totally skipped over that last week.
I think we did too.
If you follow us on Twitter.
That's full color. In full color video as well.
Full color. Barring any hardware failure.
Yeah.
Technicolor. Yeah, we're back weekly. I think the plan is to do weekly as much as we can until November, December, and then probably take a holiday break. May might be rough. I get married at the start of May, and I'm gone for 2 weeks for my honeymoon, so May might be iffy.
But I feel like it's okay for us to take some time off now and then. But we can discuss that in the meeting. We don't have to do this in front of the whole 12 people.
Hey, we get more than 12 viewers, and I'm thankful for every single one of them.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Me too.
So, other news items. We've got the Bobcat went vertical.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, I've already forgotten the name of this park. Give me one. You didn't.
Larry, what does going vertical mean? Everybody might not know.
Oh, yeah. So that means when something starts to go up in a vertical direction from the ground.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what that meant for a while. I thought it literally meant like the lift hill started going up and not just any construction.
You're referencing a tweet, correct?
No, we're just discussing the fact that not everybody who stumbled upon this happens to know every coaster term.
Yeah, I mean we might have plenty of people that are new and are young.
Okay, so so it means
a family-friendly podcast.
For all intents and purposes, it means it started getting built, really, right? I mean...
Yeah, it's literally about this tall right now. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I am taller than this coaster at the moment.
Dude, that's dope.
How many coasters out there do you think you're taller than? That's a different episode for a different day. No, there's probably a couple kiddie coasters I might feel.
There's those, yeah.
Hey, we're taller than Great Pumpkin.
How tall is Great Pumpkin?
What about the tallest point of Great Pumpkin?
I thought it was 8 feet.
I'm not 8 feet tall.
I'm not 8 feet tall.
Wait, if I stand on a box, give me a second.
If I stand on a really tall box, I'm taller than Orion. Get over it.
Yeah, if it was tall enough.
Speaking of going vertical, Kings Island.
Oh. Yes, So we've got our soapbox racers beginning to go vertical. So it looks like the first track arrived on the 16th, started going vertical on the 19th. For those that are keeping track and would like to know.
They got the station started to be built and said it would be finished in April.
Oh, correct. And then in other news, we've got Winter Chill Out. The signups opened yesterday.
For any of you who don't know, Winter Chill Out is a behind-the-scenes charity event at Cedar Point every year.
Yes.
It benefits a kid again, which...
No. So wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love a kid again. Very important cause to me. So, yeah, we love Winter Chill Out.
Now, for that reason. So this registration is open for 48 hours. Is that right?
I think so, which means by the time this episode comes out, registration
will have closed for quite a while. Yeah, so that means it closes tomorrow morning, I guess.
Tomorrow morning. We're recording this the 23rd.
Yeah, $90.
Yeah, $90. That's I think they're starting to price me out on this event personally. I went last year. It's also because I'm, planning and paying for a wedding, so a lot of things are pricing me out right now. Yeah. Because every dollar counts.
Sure.
But I think I've seen a lot of people say they're kind of starting to price them out on this event. I wonder
Yeah.
if they raise tickets to compensate for only going down to 1 day this year.
Yeah, I think they raised it because the demand is there for it. I mean, even if there are people that are like, that's a little rich for my blood, there's still plenty of people that want to go.
Do we have time for a conspiracy theory?
Top Thrill 2.
What's the? Yeah, no, of course, dude.
Okay, so Tony Clark's official answer as to why they went down to 1 day was like, it's difficult to run this event for 2 days during the off season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because everybody who works this event is on salary and they don't want to have to pay a ton of comp time.
Could be.
Like, you having it for 2 days, if it's an 8-hour event, I assume they're working close to 10 hours. That's 20 extra hours you either have to pay overtime or give them comp break time.
How much was it last year?
It was either 70 or 75 a ticket.
Oh, so it's actually not that much of it's not as much of an increase as I thought.
But I think I heard the year before it was only 60.
Yeah, it's on a $15 per year over the year over year for the last few years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I just don't think I don't think I'm interested anymore at that price personally. But it's for a great cause and plenty of people will go. So
I think so going into Winter Chill Out, it's always blind. You don't really know what you're going to do that year because it's slightly different every year.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we're getting into the nearly $100, you kind of got to give an idea of what the itinerary is going to be.
They gave
I didn't realize they didn't. Yeah.
Did they? I only saw that you're going to be able to get to Top Thrill 2.
I'm going to look it up real quick. I'm still interested in going just because I haven't been.
I registered. I just don't know if I'm
registered.
If I might go ahead and just throw up a registration too, just to see. I thought you were supposed to do for like everybody you were going to go with. You were just supposed to register once.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to go, so I didn't register for you guys. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I registered arbitrarily for 3. I could literally use 1 to 3 of those tickets. So
I thought I was going back and forth. I was like, I probably should register for them, but I don't know. I should have.
But yeah, so
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd regret it if I didn't register, just to at least get the option.
Wait, Taylor, you have in the notes here that tickets go on sale Wednesday.
I don't know. Did I put that?
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think the tickets
went on sale Wednesday.
As in when this comes out on Thursday or Friday this week, tickets will have gone. I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
Wednesday as of release. I don't know. I don't
think that's accurate.
I don't know where I got that. I know that the
registration nobody would have known that we had
that. Wednesday as of it closes Wednesday as of release.
Oh, I think that's probably what.
So then everybody is going to start getting notified sometime, probably starting Wednesday afternoon or maybe Thursday.
Based on last year, I could see it even being up to a week. They had to filter through all the duplicates and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Don't listen to everything I say.
Any other thoughts on Winter Chill Out?
I guess the only thing I'm seeing is that you're guaranteed some Top Thrill 2 time and that there's going to be somewhere on there that there's not photography permitted.
Okay.
And that it's up to 5 hours.
I've been wondering if they're going to run a test run of Top Thrill 2.
I was wondering that too.
I was wondering this before they started testing last. Like, I thought they were going to try to get their first few test runs at Winter Chill Out.
No.
But then they started testing months ago.
Did they say what dates Winter Chill Out was going to be?
February 24th.
It's just the 24th.
What if it's... I mean, is there any reason not to run it for a test run if it's, like, extremely cold?
You would... I mean, you have... What is it? Terran over in Germany that's literally running in the snow right now.
Yeah.
So, like... I know Cedar Point can get wicked cold in the winter, but, like... I don't know Zamperla's operating temperatures. I know, like, for example, Wildcats Revenge has a 32-degree minimum. So does Candemonium. I know that most B&Ms are around that 30 to 34 range, but I
Yeah.
know that Great Adventure will run Nitro down into the teens and single digits.
It's possible. It's something they could do if they wanted to do that.
I assume wind would play a higher factor, and you don't want
That's
to
true. Yeah, that's a huge thing
on the
with
peninsula.
Dragster,
Yeah.
and with Legacy Dragster, with every ride at Cedar Point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on from there, we've got the app release. Now, this is just at Carowinds and Cedar Point right now. Is that right? Or has
I
I don't think the
think
Kings Island
I
one has come out yet.
Kings Islands
Has it?
hasn't released, but it's
No.
supposed to.
Okay. And then we've got here issues. Was this you,
I
Josh?
no, I have not had
No, this
any
was
issues. I'm
me.
actually
I've been
Oh,
surprised.
playing
Taylor,
with it.
what issues were you having?
I know that it just rolled out, so there's bound to be bugs. I'm gonna preface with that. My gold pass. Oh, hey, they finally added that I have all season drinks. At first, it just said dining. Does not have that I have all parks on there. Carowinds won't let me add my pass. Just won't. Says it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well,
I felt like
I
there was another
wonder
bug I
if
was having with it.
they've got
you
time.
Forget what it was.
I'm wondering if the reason it's saying your pass doesn't exist is not necessarily an app bug, but more a back end system bug. Just working in IT, that's just where I go to. I could see the back system not flagging Gold Pass to Kings Island plus All Park Passport as like there's might not be a flag in the system for this is a Carowinds
But
pass.
it works in my Kings Island, Cedar Point, Dorney, and Kings Dominion, just not my
Never mind.
Carowinds. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
only Cedar Point and Carowinds are up to, or the new updated one right
Yeah,
now.
it could be. Yeah, it's probably a combination of it's the app on the back end not looking for. You're probably right.
Yeah.
well, they've got time to work out the kinks before the season starts. So
It's beautiful though. Can we
is
discuss
it?
the map?
I should download it. I wonder if I
Before we
already
get
had
into
the
the map,
Carowinds app.
This
because there's
actually
cool things to
transitions
talk about on the
perfectly
map.
into the next thing we have on the docket here, which is Top Thrill 2. We know what that plaza is going to look like now because this
Yeah.
app is so well detailed. We can see like where the queue is going to be, where the lockers are going to be in the plaza. It's where they were before.
Okay.
I didn't know
But
if there
like
were lockers
there
before or
were,
not,
yes.
so yeah, okay.
We
Oh
can
yeah,
see
there
where
were. There were. Yeah.
the entrance is going to be. I'm going to say this isn't to scale because it only has like one queue line going or like one set switchback going into the station. But
I got to be honest. I don't think Cedar Point can handle single use fast lane, and we are seeing here
they did
this
it last
Top Thrill
year.
2 will be. Yeah, but I mean, their fast lane is always such a mess
I think
already
I'm going to
before
okay.
single use.
I want to say something. I don't necessarily think single use Fastlane will be for sale for this ride.
Okay, so wait, why do we have? Because somebody
Those are
said that it
the
was like in the
daily
app.
use pass lanes.
They have the
Oh,
Prestige Plus Pass
that's
or whatever
those are
they're called
different
now.
things. Those
Yeah,
are
but
different things.
they're still called single use Fastlanes though.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay. So we're not necessarily saying they're going to have a cart outside this ride where
I
you're going to be able to
wouldn't
buy
put
this.
that past them.
No, I
I'm not
wouldn't
I
taking
feel
that
like
off
if
the
they do,
table.
it'll be like $35 though.
I saw
Yeah,
people saying that, but I also saw a thing or a lot of
$35.
people.
They would do that. They
They
would do
would.
that.
I could
Yeah.
honestly see them getting away with like 50 on peak days.
Because like
At
Beast
that
on a
point,
busy day, I think is like 2025, or like
that's
Orion.
insane. That's insane.
Oh, there
I
is
would
news
never
we
pay
didn't
that.
put on the docket, and it ties perfectly into this.
What?
Cedar Fair is rolling out any day Fastlane.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
So you can
I think we
buy
missed
it.
that last week.
Yeah, so you can buy it any day and redeem it any day.
Yeah,
And
and
there's
that's.
no. Sorry,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and there's no option to buy a specific day fast lane anymore. It's just the any
Really? I
day.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
because I was
Oh.
I did
looking at
not
it when
know
it came
that.
out. It's just the any
Interesting.
day, so there's no
Okay.
flexible
Interesting.
pricing.
See, that actually really because I was thinking about this, trying to figure out how this doesn't mess everything up. And my
That's how. That's 100% how.
no, see, but the problem is if you can't because what I had thought was, okay, they're going to sell these, and then that they must have some like they must have mapped it out so then they know how many they can sell on
Oh,
specific
I
days.
see what you
But how
mean.
does this work if like what if everybody shows up with their any day fast lane on the 4th of July? That's going to be a
I was
nightmare.
Well,
Yeah, that's I was went back to look at like the terms and stuff when this was announced or not announced, but when people started seeing it and finding it. Because I was like, is there a blackout date, especially for like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and there's no blackout dates. So I was like looking at it real close, and I was like, there's not specific days anymore. So I was like,
I'm
that's
gonna
just
I don't
read the
know.
fine
messy.
print on this real
Yeah,
quick. I
I
have
don't
a
know.
couple thoughts, but I want to speak from an educated point of view.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, as long as if it's the way that it's being described right now, that's dicey.
It's really
Let's see.
because those are like big days to make money off Fastlane
I mean,
too.
and
Like
they
you can
already
sell
had,
Fastlane.
even when they had limits for specific days, they already ran into problems on, big days like opening day or, the holidays and stuff. Ooh,
Sorry. I'm looking at Cedar Point's Fastlane Plus. It's not on sale yet, so I can't tell you if it's going to be daily or not. But they don't have Top Thrill 2 listed for the big four. They have Steel Vengeance, Maverick, Millie, and Valraven. But we already know Top Thrill 2 is going to be a Fastlane Plus ride because the all season lineup as well as the app.
Yeah, well, they
well,
don't
yeah.
have
I mean, it
Top
would
Thrill
be
2
it
on
would
here at
be
all.
crazy not to put it on there.
Of course, it's a cash cow. Unless you're only going to do it with
Yeah.
single use, which would be a good
Yeah.
money move, but a terrible PR move.
That would literally be awful if they did that. I
Okay,
would,
okay.
yeah.
No, never mind. That doesn't make sense either.
I don't know.
Um,
We'll get into it more, but I am concerned about the
Wait,
idea of that.
Cedar Point doesn't have the any day. Only Kings
yeah,
Island has
well,
the any day.
yes,
That's
correct.
good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't notice that.
And Cedar
That
Point's, and that makes sense too, because Cedar Point's variance is, I think, a lot larger than Kings Island is for what they sell
yeah.
those passes for. Um,
Um,
it makes more sense. Plus, you got to limit how many there are, which is what they should probably do at Kings Island too.
right.
But
I wanted the fast lanes are also only available or usable through Labor Day with the any
mm,
day at Kings Island. That's probably
okay, well, that's
important to
good.
note. There's limited quantities available, but
yeah,
how
that's what I'm looking at.
limited does that
So wait,
say?
okay, now I'm so confused. I got to go to the Kings Island website. Uh,
Yeah.
There's not
so
really any fine print.
so wait, okay, so hold on a minute. So you could actually fast lanes, like just individual day fast lanes, could sell out by like May, like theoretically.
Theoretically, yeah. Besides like all
Yeah,
season
okay,
fast
yes
lane,
and
yeah.
no. The good any day fast lane is only available online. You will still be able to walk into the park and buy a fast lane. But
Okay,
that
so
but that
Right.
goes
okay,
back to the same question of how do they, like, let's say at 10 a.m. 100 people walk or 1,000 people walk in the park and buy fast lane in park and they sell out for the day, and then at 1 p.m. 10,000 people walk in the park that bought good any day fast lane.
yeah,
Like,
yes,
Yeah.
they must. I don't know. Hopefully, it all works out. They're doing some things with Fastlane that I find a little dicey, but
and
hopefully,
then
it ends up being okay.
to make it more complicated, at 3 o'clock, 30,000 platinum or prestige pass holders come in
Yeah,
and use their single
with
day
single
fast
use,
lane. Yeah.
it's just starting to sound like Fastlane might become slow lane, slightly less slow lane. But we'll see. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead, Taylor.
These good any days are only like $10 more than like their normal cheap day fast lanes because normally like fast lane in
Well,
the middle of the week is like 80 to
we're
$90 and these are 109. It's
we're
not
Yeah.
assuming
that big of a price
though that
difference.
we're assuming that's a price difference for product, not a price difference for inflation.
Let me ask you this: are we certain that this isn't just something that they're going to try to make some money off of during the off season, and eventually
Mm,
those will be gone, and it'll just be back to regular Fastlane.
Oh, that could be.
I definitely, but same question. How do we deal with the people that bought all of these?
Right. I think that with that, it's like probably the same thing they do for those all season fast lanes, where they must factor it in somehow to like how many they can sell. You know what I'm saying?
I'm willing to bet that the reason they went for this is because same thing with season passes, where people will buy a season pass, only go once, and the park profits on them. I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet good any day there is a built-in profit margin of we
People not using
expect
them.
85% of people to show up and use them. And
Right.
if we sell 100,000 of these and 15,000 people don't show up, that's free $18,000.
Right.
Something like that. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some corporate math that makes this make perfect sense. And like you can do studies to figure out, well, based on attendance, if we know we sold 100,000 of these, we expect 85,000 of them to be used over the course of the year. Using our standard deviation for when
Right.
fast lanes are bought, we can kind of like fudge the numbers a little bit.
I mean, don't give them too much credit. They definitely
Hey, I said they
have screwed the
could.
pooch on Fastlane before.
I would be interested to ask McLovin about this because his
Yeah.
internship was Cedar Fair Finances. So I'd
Mhm.
be interested in if he has a take on this.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, I think we've spent enough time on that, unless anybody has anything else to say. But that's interesting. Certainly, be interesting to see how that works out.
I always have
Uh,
something more to say,
Definitely.
and it's Orion is a Giga.
Orion is a
exactly.
Giga. End of episode. Cut.
Okay. All right. Hey, great job, guys. We did it.
Good job, guys.
All right. So let's see. We've got the merge point in the station for Top Thrill 2.
Oh, yeah. I guess we did
Oh
skip over
yeah,
that point.
What's going on with
For
that? Oh my god, yeah, that's
visual.
just a bright white light. Okay, there we go.
There we go. For
yep.
visual people, we can see where the merge point is. My map
Allegedly
lined up
is.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it.
allegedly is gonna be. Okay, cool. I'm
So it's
trying.
going
I
to
have
be
my
so it's
ring
not
light
going to be
right
one of
next to my
those
phone.
It's not going
Yeah.
to
it's
be
not
a
going to be
Steel
a
Vengeance
funky
situation. It's going to
yeah.
be like a Kings Island situation where you have a separate line all the way to the.
Very good.
King's
Very good.
Dominion has good any day fast lane too.
Yeah, I feel like I
Yeah.
saw it for a couple of parks when people started
I
pointing it
I
out.
I think. Sorry to go back to this, Larry. I
No, you're
think
okay.
the parks that have spring openings
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
doing this already, and I wonder if that's a tricky way to try to increase fast lane sales in spring, because
Yeah.
usually in spring the crowds are a little lower.
No,
Anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
That could
Like,
be.
yeah, they might go back. Like, they can always fall back to just limiting the amount per day after they've sold so many of these.
yeah,
Right.
it's gonna be tricky. I'm gonna kind of keep my thumb on this.
I'm going to make a prediction, though, regardless of what McLovin says or anything. I'm going to make a prediction that uh, season pass holder preview is not going to end up being a very good day. That's going to be my prediction. And that's
Oh,
a pretty good
I didn't think
prediction,
about that.
usually.
Knott's does not have a good any day fast lane.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
Knott's
oh
is
my
kind of different.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that park is already jam packed.
Their all season fast lane is kind of cheap.
Their all season one, how much is it?
$675.
That
Of
is
course,
cheap.
that is a
Okay.
relative cheap. I want to be clear about that. We're
Well,
talking
compared
about
to Cedar
yes,
Point and
Kings Island.
and
So
Kings
yes.
Island. Okay. So, well, so the main idea of this episode today is that we're going to do 6 things that we want to see the new Six Flags do if and when they dot the I's and cross the T's on that transaction. So,
Worlds of Fun has good any day. Sorry, I'm on a tear.
it's just very fascinated by this.
They have good any day fast lane plus, but their regular fast lane's not on sale yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, take me
Interesting.
away. Take me
Yes.
away.
Okay, yeah.
Let's move on. Let's start with. Why don't we start with you, Taylor?
Oh,
What would
why
you
do we
like
have
to see?
start with
What's
me?
one thing? We don't have to.
Well, just
I'm
one
trying
thing
to
at
be
a time.
polite.
Oh,
One thing
thank
at a
you,
time.
Larry.
We're gonna go round
One thing at a time.
robin.
Okay, well, um, I want to see improved ADA. For those that don't know, I have a connective tissue disorder, so I use ADA with all of my visits. And some parks are really, really good about it. Some parks really, really suck about it. And some parks are Six Flags that make you go to your doctor and get a note saying that you're
I
disabled.
didn't know that.
And that's just not accessible to many people for various reasons. And I'm not a fan of that. So I'd like them to not do that if they merge. But then also like the hecticness of having to go up an exit to get into the station like that sucks
Mystic
because then you're
Timbers
getting
on
run
New Year's
overs.
Eve.
Yes.
That was
And especially when they're
terrible.
like, and I don't want to blame ride ops because ride ops have a very stressful job, unless you're a Valorant ride op, and then I do blame you because I've not been treated very nicely by ride ops
They're
on Valraven.
miserable. The
No, and
Valraven
like
ops are miserable. They hate their lives. I've noticed
Why
I've,
don't
this.
they let you
I've,
use the bins for anything?
I've used them.
They will not let me use those bins for anything.
I think it's just for shoes for some reason.
But you're not supposed to take your shoes off either.
I don't know. They're just for like one very specific purpose.
That's
Any
neither here nor there.
anyway, improve
I'm on one
my
today,
ADA
Larry.
experience. I like
Excuse me.
that Valraven has a separate section for you to stand when you're in the ADA. I think Maverick does this too.
I was about
However,
to say,
these
I
are
raise you, Maverick.
yes, but these are the two where I have problems with the ride ops kind of like ignoring me for like multiple trains at a time before they come over and sign my sheet, and I'm like, I can't stand for long periods. That's why I'm over here.
Right.
I know other people have
Gatekeeper
it for
has one
different
too, don't
reasons.
they? Gatekeeper has a different section too,
Yes,
don't they?
yes,
And
I
Gatekeeper
yes, they
ops are
do.
usually good in my experience. Just nice,
The
fast.
gatekeeper ops are wonderful. I love gatekeeper ops.
I think
But
that
otherwise, you're
there's an
getting run over.
element. What's that?
Otherwise, you're getting run over by the people coming off. People
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
a
if you're
mess.
sitting there for ADA or if you're waiting for your family. We need separate lines for the ADA. And I don't want to have to go to my doctor and explain to my doctor why I can't go to the amusement park, even though she would know and she's understanding. Not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And I want to
Can I make
advocate for those people.
I'm gonna make a small ADA rant for a second. I was
Yes.
at King's Dominion, and I had an ADA pass because I also have issues that my doctor is still trying to figure out, but that's here nor there at the moment. And Grizzly, the exit to Grizzly that you go in to get ADA has like a step, like that's this big, and so they have an elevator. And so the sign specifically said, like, for ADA, use this elevator. So I was like, oh, okay. And I hit the button, and the elevator never came. So if you're in a wheelchair and you want to get on Grizzly, you just can't ride Grizzly because there's a
Huh.
step this big you'd have to get up.
Huh, that's weird.
That's annoying. You know what's
I'm
Yeah.
also
hoping.
annoying?
What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh,
I'll say mine
I'm
after.
hoping it was just like down for the day and I caught it on a bad day or something. That's obviously the
Right.
optimal situation.
I think
But
they
like,
have to hit the button at the top too.
oh, that would make a little more sense then.
Yeah, so if they didn't hear the button,
Yeah.
because I know
Okay.
Banshee has the same thing. They have a button that you hit for them to release the exit gate.
Mm.
So you have to wait for
Okay.
them unless you go back through like the photo station.
Ah.
But you're
Let me
supposed
ask
to go
this.
through the gate.
Which gate?
There's a gate to the side, like you know how there's like the photo shop, but then there's just like a gate if you just don't want to buy your photo.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that gate, there's a
Sorta.
button on the outside to hit if you're going in for ADA.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. One question I wanted to ask you is, do you feel like, because you were talking about being kind of ignored, do you feel like there's an issue perhaps with kind of prejudice towards people, like where they're looking at you and they're like, oh, you look fine, you don't need that?
I definitely do think that's a thing, especially
Yeah.
being young and being a woman or
Mhm.
female presenting. Um, because, and I'm sorry, men, it's usually a problem when I have men, especially young men, who are riding my ADA pass. Well, they'll act like I don't need it. I need to have the line pass, which I already hate the line pass because it's very exclusionary. Why would I go to a theme park with my friends if I have to go sit by myself while
Yeah,
my
that's
friends go
not
stand
gonna
in
work.
line?
That's dumb. Yeah.
Exclusionary, hate it. So usually men are kind of a problem, hounding me about why I need it. Women don't care, or old men are like, fine, go for it. Um,
Yeah.
and when women are the ones doing the things, I usually feel like they get me on a little faster.
Yeah.
Um,
We
sorry.
tried to get on Flight of Fear after
Yes,
a
this was
dude
where I was
at
gonna go with.
Mystic wrote the wrong time on our pass. And so we get over there at like 9:25 p.m. and they go, "This says that you just got on Mystic at 9:25." And Taylor looks at her watch and goes, "It's 9:24. How did we get here in less in negative 1 minute?" And they're like, "Oh." And
No,
they
she
were like
said,
so confused.
they said, oh, let me go call someone.
Oh
And like
yeah,
literally
they had to
walked
go away
away
and
to go call her
confirm.
supervisor.
Yeah, and did her supervisor?
Wow.
I know somebody else came over. I don't know if it was her supervisor or another op, but Taylor goes like, "It's literally the time they said that we got on Mystic right now," and they're like,
I physically could
"Oh,
not be over here.
yeah,
And that
that
happens a
was funny."
lot where they'll write the wrong time. They'll write like an hour later or 10 minutes later. And I'm like, fix this. Because
Yeah.
like I
I
get screwed in this situation.
To go back to the root of this point with like Six Flags system sucks, and I also see a lot of people complaining about like there's so many people that abuse the ADA system, and I'm like, I have an invisible chronic illness of some sort that causes my legs to be in screaming pain if
Yeah.
I stand for too long. I
Yeah.
have to be able to sit. And what you're basically saying is, since I can't see that, you must be abusing the system.
Yeah.
I think that
I
is
will
what
say
it is
there
most
are
of the time.
people abusing the system for sure.
I believe there
Well,
are.
yeah.
Like
There
I'm
has
aware of some people that have abused the system.
there has to be a middle ground between having an open system and
Yeah.
having to validate with a doctor. Because, for example, I did not have a job with good enough insurance that I could afford to go see a doctor until 3 months ago. So
Yeah.
I've
Right.
been, for lack of a better term, raw dogging extreme leg pain for the last like 3-4 years at parks. And it wasn't until I was able to like actually go see a doctor that I was finally comfortable um like reaching out to part or to not reaching out finally comfortable like getting ADA, because I'm like, okay, I'm working with a doctor to figure out what this is. My doctor agrees I have a problem of some sort,
Right.
and even that was validating enough to me where I'm like, okay, I know. I mean, I knew I wouldn't have been taking advantage of it before, but like I don't have imposter syndrome about
Yeah.
this, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, you don't have to feel guilty. I mean,
Exactly.
honestly, I don't think that it's a big enough problem for them to need. They should lean on being an open system more, just because most people are just not going to do that. Like even people who have like legitimate reasons don't want to go up there and ask for one of those. So like most
Yeah.
people aren't going to
It's
abuse it.
Yeah.
intimidating.
So yeah.
There's
Uh,
also
I
you go,
God.
Taylor. You go, Taylor.
I just wanted to say I love that Hershey like literally keeps my information in the system for a year and just prints it right back out. Every time I come in, prints it out, here's your pass, go. They send you up their fast lane. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel
good.
about that because the times I've been to Hershey, it's been dead, so it's like literally just walking right on.
Yeah, right.
It's
I don't know
that's
how
a
I feel
similar
about
with the
that normally.
Cedar Point problem is like some Cedar or some Hershey lines, the fast lane goes directly into the station, and some Cedar Fair line or their Go Quick, I think that's called. Their Go
Oh,
Quick is a merge point. So like for Storm Runner, for
Yeah,
example, you're still waiting a half hour in that line with where the merge point is usually.
yeah.
and you have to go
It's
up
called Go
and
Quick.
down the stairs.
Yes, and you have to go up and downstairs. It's and
All
they
the
call
good
it
names were
right
taken.
now?
Go
They should
quick.
have called it. Well, it could have been
No, I
worse. They
think
could
it's
have called it
Hershey
Quickie.
Go.
Yeah, they could.
Is it? They may have just
It's Hershey
rebranded.
Go.
You might be right. I know that they
Oh,
just rolled out
well, now
another
I'm
big
disappointed.
thing with I don't know. Anyways, I
I'm gonna
agree
look
with
it up.
Taylor. One park that I want to rant about their ADA for a minute, and I know Taylor. I'm gonna ask
Oh,
Taylor. Are you familiar with how Disney does their ADA?
um, I thought they did it kind of. No, Universal does it the Six Flags way.
Correct.
Disney, you have to like set up an appointment with Disney and talk about what they'll be
Don't you have
willing
to
to
do
give
like a
you and
Zoom
stuff like
meeting or
that.
You have to
something?
do an
Yep.
interview, and Disney determines if you're disabled enough
Yeah.
to, and then all you get, from my understanding, is like 2 guaranteed lightning lanes, basically for like free.
Oh my god, Disney, man.
Oh wait, I
Disney.
can.
Disney's yes, Taylor.
Sorry. So Hershey has a fast track program. Your fast track purchase to add your fast track purchase to your Hershey Park Go wristband.
Yes, Hershey Park Go
Why
is
does it
their
have the
wristband.
I love that you were
Yeah.
determined to get that out in that breath. Like you're
Because
like,
Hershey Park Go is also how you track like your cup fusion and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Which I
Gotcha.
don't know. It confused me last time I was there. I didn't bother because I'm there to ride Stormrunner and Wildcat and Skyrush and
Yeah.
Comet, and I'm not there to
well,
worry about a wristband. But yeah,
well,
Disney
excellent.
determines. The only reason I could see being fine for Disney to do that, quote unquote, is there's a lot of people there in wheelchairs just due to age restrictions because, you know, it's more of a family thing.
Right.
And I've been on Haunted Mansion where it's literally stopping every like minute and a half to let somebody on because the wheelchair line was so long. So I could see why they would implement a system like that, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're trying
Also,
to. There's no other way around it other than they are trying to deny as many people ADA access as possible.
Well, how else are you going to sell Lightning Lane?
Yeah, right.
Disney also, with how Disney adults are, I could see people actually trying to abuse it because I hear about it where like
That's
it's like
true.
in the Disney mom groups, like say you have this problem, so they'll give it to you. And I'm like, no, please stop doing
Disney
that.
magical mom. Like, yeah, 10 things to do to make your day at Disney easier. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Stomp on every child at rope drop so you can get the first in line.
Yes. Yes.
Timmy into Mickey.
Remember, toddlers are at knee height. If it looks like an accident, no one can get mad.
All right. Well, anything
God.
else about
Okay.
88 passes?
I think I have my ADA rant for the month.
I want to know how you would improve. Like, would you just screw you Six Flags, we're going to Cedar Fair system entirely? Would you come up with a comp? Okay.
Yeah. I think screw Six Flags entirely. Add a specified lane for ADA. I know that means reworking a lot of things, and it's not necessarily easy or simple, but keep it in mind in future rides. Like Seal Vengeance. I'm so tired of getting elbowed, cussed at, all this walking up those stairs when I go up for
people
ADA.
are mad that they waited for 10 hours.
Yep. Literally have been elbowed, shoved, cussed at, all this walking up the
I wonder if one thing that could really help that is if the Steel Vengeance queue didn't feel like a prison sentence. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and like Josh, you brought up a really interesting point with the doctor thing. That's prejudicial. Not everybody can.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, not everybody can go to the doctor to get a doctor's note. You know,
and some doctors suck. I dealt with a doctor that sucked as a kid that said I was a liar, and I'm like, bro,
I did too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my doctors to go a little more into detail. When I went to my new doctor, who like believes me, she's like, "Have you had symptoms of this, and this for your whole life?" And I'm like, whoosh, just like flushed with like, I was told that's not a symptom, but it connects. I was told that's not a symptom, but it connects. And she's like, wow, it sounds like you've been dealing with this like for a long time. And I'm like, I genuinely like did not realize these were things I should be looking for. And so like that's part of the reason why it's hard to even get diagnosed sometimes, is because you don't know what's wrong with you because you've been dealing with it for 10, 15, 20 years. It's normal to you at that point.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you're getting the help you need for that. For sure. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Josh,
on a happier note. Are we rotating through? I thought Taylor was going to go for her.
No, it's on you now.
Oh, okay.
Give us one of yours.
I'm going to go with food.
Okay. Can you be more specific?
Nope, just food.
Just food.
Okay.
Um,
food.
Yeah, no, I was taking a deep breath. I'm really hoping that the both lower, well, first of all Six Flags parks really, but especially the lower end parks that might not have like a giga or like, you know, a stunning water park that everybody loves. Like, I'm hoping they can at least get good restaurant investments. That way, you know, maybe you go to Darien Lake and they have a few good coasters, a few you just ride for the credits, but they have a banging restaurant. And everybody says you know, when you go to Darien Lake, make sure you try this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically sick of Darien Lake is my home park, obviously, and I'll go there and I'll be miserable because I'm hungry and I'm getting hangry. But it's like cold cheese fries and like
Ew.
theme park
Ew.
pizza, or like the sit down restaurants that are like $30 a person that they have in the back of the park. I want like Cedar Fair to roll out, and not just at Six Flags. Dorney needs a good restaurant. I love
Dorney's
Dorney
got a
Park.
Chickies and Pete's. They're fine.
Stop with the chain foods. I don't want chain food
I
in the
like
park.
Chickies and Pete's. That's
Anyways,
what it's
Dorney
called,
needs a
right?
good restaurant.
Dorney
Yeah.
deserves a good farmhouse.
They're just going to end up getting a barbecue joint. That's what they're
And
going to
honestly, that's fine. Like a good barbecue joint can
I'm
raise
so
a park.
tired of the.
Okay,
I'm
if a
tired of theme
park is
park
like a
barbecue.
solid B and they get a good barbecue joint, they're like a B plus in my opinion. Like a good one good restaurant, and barbecue is relatively safe. So I'm kind of expecting it. A good restaurant can raise a park like a whole plus minus grade in my opinion.
I think parks actually made me tired of barbecue, and I didn't think that was possible for me.
What parks do you go to that have so much? I guess you go to Kings Island and
I
Cedar
think
Point.
every Cedar Fair park now, it seems like, has barbecue, and like that's
Just
I don't know.
stop eating the barbecue.
I thought King's
I can't.
Dominions was just not good.
Yeah, I didn't really like the King's Dominion
Then
barbecue
again,
either.
we went during a haunt, and they always have
True.
like every park's food dwindles during haunt. I can't really hold that against
Yeah.
I
them.
can't. I like Backbeat Q. I like
I
the
love Back PQ.
yeah. I like the one at Kings Island, but yeah, I don't know. I want to see
Put
them
some
do
respect
something
on Coney
different.
barbecue.
Do something
Throwback to New
different.
Year's when I got Enrique's mac and cheese bar. Okay, Larry. So, did you go to Winterfest at all?
No, not
So
this year.
they swap Enrique's for like a Mac Shack style thing.
Yeah, they've been doing that.
And, yeah. And so I walk in and they're like, what do you want? I'm like, okay, mac and cheese, throw in some steak. And then I wanted like a few cheeses mixed in and then like breadcrumbs. Like it was really easy. So they give me the bowl of mac and cheese and the steak. And imagine 3 times the amount of cheese that goes on a Skyline chili bowl.
Oh my god,
It
3
was
times
so
the amount.
It was literally the bowl was like this thick and the cheese was piled up to here.
Oh my god.
And I walk over to the people we were hanging out with and I'm like, guys, I need help. I don't know how to get to my mac and cheese. And I literally had to get another bowl, put it on top, and flip it over to
Smart.
You're
access the mac and
welcome.
cheese.
Oh, is that Taylor's
Actually,
idea?
no, Elizabeth gave it to me, thank you.
No, it was my bowl.
She recommended it first.
Did she? I don't know. I'm
I
gonna
think
text
so.
her after this.
I got a question.
Maybe
I got a
I'll
question
text
for
her
both
after
of you
this.
guys.
Yeah.
On this topic. Okay, Taylor, you're saying no more chains. Okay.
No more chains.
No more chains.
I
Can
don't
I
like
put a
Skyline
caveat to that?
either.
Can I put a caveat to that?
I think you're thinking what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that if they decide to go, which it does look like they're doing, getting rid of these chains, Skyline and, well, you're not going to agree with La Rosa's, but Skyline and La Rosa's, I think, at Kings Island need an exception. Those need to stay.
That's very similar to what I was going to say. If they're like Darien Lake has an anchor bar, which is like the ones that invented the chicken wings. So like if you have a local staple,
yes,
it is okay to have a branch in a local staple theme park.
I totally agree. I think that needs to stay because like
Taylor,
Skyline,
stop texting.
What are you doing, Taylor?
She's texting. She's texting in the quad down chat to ask Elizabeth a question.
Probably to ask whose bowl it was.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Oh my god. No, Skyline though is like such a Cincinnati thing. I would be so pissed off if they removed that from Kings Island. Taylor, what do you think about that? Would you be mad if they removed Skyline?
Okay, so I don't even really like Skyline. Skyline outside of the park is better.
I
Um,
I I
I
think
agree that it's better.
I,
But
I like the way La Rosa smells. It's a Cincinnati staple. I wouldn't care if they replaced it,
yeah.
but I feel like a
Josh,
little sad.
I guarantee you had just a bad batch. Because La Rosa's is not bad. It's I mean for theme park
you
pizza, it's
have.
good.
I have high pizza standards,
No,
to be fair.
stop.
And no, it's just true.
Yeah, but it's still
No.
what?
Exactly. I told you so.
She Elizabeth said that quote. I could be wrong, but possibly Taylor gave me the bowl.
Well, at least that's solved, guys. It was Taylor's
See,
bowl.
you didn't have to wait a week. I found the answer right away.
Well, I texted McLovin half an hour ago, and he hasn't answered. And you know what, McLovin? I know you're listening to this, so think about that text you got from me on Tuesday night at 9:00. I am on one today. I'm sorry.
One
Also,
thing,
just shout out
Josh. Oh,
Elizabeth.
God.
Hi.
Hi,
Okay.
Elizabeth. How are you?
Come back on the pod.
Did we ever
I know you would.
congratulate Elizabeth on this podcast for her new
I don't
position?
know.
Well, let's do it now.
Congratulations.
Yes. What is the official title?
Director of Digital Communications?
Yeah.
No,
Let
I
me go
don't
to
think that's right.
Twitter.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
There was so much sass in that, Taylor.
Digital
know.
marketing manager. So Elizabeth, the former member of the Quad Down Pod,
For like a hot second.
for a hot
For
second.
literally one episode. But
Yeah. Well,
congrats.
yep.
She does great work.
The
Love her
digital
over
marketing
there.
strategy.
She's
She
welcome
does do
anytime.
great work. Welcome. All right. So one other thing I wanted to bring up, Josh, on the food thing that I wanted to ask you about. Does anybody else, excuse me, want to see them do a different kind of restaurant than these ones where you get in the line and like these cafeteria style
The high
things?
capacity ones?
Yeah.
Like you want like a custom sit down is what you're going
Yeah,
for?
I want something like the brew house.
Yeah, I mean, I think brew house is a good compromise between high capacity and sit down.
Yes. Yeah.
I think what they should do.
I just don't want every restaurant to be like, oh, you're going through a line and picking stuff out of like that's been sitting under a heat lamp.
Yeah. I had an
but-
idea and I like it as an idea, but I don't want to speak it into existence. So I'm going to dance around it.
Okay.
I wonder if let's say Cedar Point had a more upscale restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
if they would counterbalance the cost by perhaps letting you use more than one of your meal swipes per day for a meal.
I wouldn't do that.
That's why I don't want to speak it into existence.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe once if I was like going to the park for like
I would
2
probably
hours
do it.
or something.
Yeah.
Like if I
See,
got
that's
there.
the problem.
Well, what
Actually,
I'm thinking is like, let's say I'm coming into town Thursday and I'm going to spend the weekend there. If I get to town Thursday and I want to eat dinner and they close at 10, maybe I go at like 8:00, use both of my meal swipes for the day for the upscale meal. And then when I'm there for the weekend, I just use it normally.
Mm-hmm.
See, I will say that normally when I say go to Cedar Point, I usually only end up using one of my meals because I only stay for like 4 to 5 hours. So that means eating as soon as I get in the park.
Yeah.
Too complicated. But I feel like they would take this down and they'd make it like those $20 farmhouse meals that you can get on your meal plan. They would end up using it for that and not your purpose.
Right.
And
but anyway,
I like
Larry,
my farmhouse
back to your
too much.
question. I do think they need a variety of, especially with the I'm going to call it the high capacity style, but I know what you meant when you said cafeteria.
Yeah.
The high capacity style, they struggle for seating because they're churning through more people through the line than people can eat. So at least with brew house, when you sit down and you eat, the line goes a little bit slower, I feel, so it kind of balances out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really articulate why, but I've never had like a problem finding seating at brew house.
I have.
On a real busy day, you'll see a line stretching out of that building, but yeah, I mean,
feel like
go ahead.
was gonna say, I feel like a big part of the brewhouse problem is the tables are all for four, and you have a lot of families of
Mm,
6 to 8.
that's
So they'll be
true.
like, "Hey, you two kids, you sit at that table while we're all over here. Take one of the chairs from there and bring it over here." And like,
One
that's why
thing
the
that I've
seating
found
sucks.
with Cedar Point specifically is they'll often have two lines. Like Hugo's has two separate queues,
Yeah.
Back BQ has two separate queues, Farmhouse has two separate queues. They're only ever using one of them. And
Yes.
sometimes that comes with half the seating as well. Like they'll close off seating
Mhm.
on one side. I assume it's a staffing thing, right? They don't want to have to staff a whole line, more cooks, more cleaning staff. But like it's impacting guest experience in that,
Yeah.
especially on a hot day when, like, let's take back BQ. Everybody's fighting for the tables under the awning because it's
Mhm.
hot, and then it's just kind of miserable. Like you're walking around for like 5 minutes sometimes with like a tray in one hand, a drink in the other, trying not to spill anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you look at that one table that has a relish smeared all over it, and you're like, nah. And then you make like 3 laps, and you're like, fine, I'll sit
Mm.
at the relish table.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an issue. Um and the other thing, my bigger issue with those high capacity style restaurants is I feel like the food is just starting to seem really samey to me. Like at all these places, it's like the one at
Yeah.
Carowinds
Ah,
is
I see what you mean. Okay.
yeah, it's like really similar to the ones everywhere else. And, um,
So
yeah.
I think that comes down to, in my opinion, what do you like? There's only a certain amount of cuisines before you start to get into niches that alienate people.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, I mean, this is food that's designed to be made in large batches and sit in.
Exactly.
So you can't, you're not really going to want to do a whole lot of things like burgers or whatever. Well, maybe
And
burgers would be
you
fine.
also you
Yeah.
picked the one thing. But
Well,
like,
yeah. I meant like, like sandwiches, like things that you're going to want to eat right away that you don't just have
yeah,
in a,
you
yeah.
don't want to have a um why is it so hard to think of an example?
You want a lot of meat and sides
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
those. Yeah. Just
you don't
like,
want like, well, no, they do that too. Dang it. You don't want like a tuna noodle casserole, like, or like seafood. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um,
Um yeah, that definitely is a big part of it. But
but
yeah, you're also appealing to the least common denominator, which
yeah,
is kids
chicken
usually.
tenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken tenders, fries, a meat,
Yeah.
and then something maybe spicy.
I don't know if they still are, but when we
What
went
doesn't have
to
spicy?
um oh my god, I completely forgot the pavilion. The
Yes.
pavilion. The fries there were banging. They were good.
They were. They changed that menu like 8 times last year
Of
though.
course they did. I
Yeah.
knew they were
Which
going to do that.
I appreciate that as a concept. Like, if a food's not working and
Yeah.
like you're dumping money and nobody's buying it, or like you're getting bad reviews, why not swap it out?
Yeah, but I think sometimes they swap out things people like and put something cheaper instead.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah, I think they're
I know
doing
that
that.
I know that when it opened they had the fish and people were complaining it wasn't enough, so they added like two pieces of fish, and then I think they swapped it for a different fish dish, and like I'm
Yeah.
sure there was something there about, well, we'll give them two fish so they stop complaining, but two fish cuts into a profit margin, so
There's always issues. That's the Kings Island all year last year, and I don't know if it's just because we've got a new guy in charge of the culinary program there or not, but there were complaints all season long about portion sizes, and they would like fix it and then they would go back. So like with that grain and grill, it was like you're supposed to get two pieces of chicken, and then like half the time people only got one.
yeah.
And then they would like something was up with that stuff. Anyway, I get what you're saying. I think that's a great idea that like some of these smaller parks need some good food
Yeah.
too. They need a little food love. Taylor, any thoughts on that? On the better food at parks?
Um, I don't know. I eat the same thing every time I go. I'm pretty easy.
What's your go-to again? Is
I
it?
either do Coney barbecue and do 2 sides of mac and the sidewinder fries, or I go to Chicken Shack and do the chicken tenders with a buffalo sauce. And yeah, I get the
I
same
like
thing every
Hanks
time.
as
And at
well.
Cedar Point, she loves Frontier Inn. Everybody go to Frontier Inn where the
Is that
old
the
Chick-fil-A
terrible
used to
place
be.
with the? Yeah. Oh
I've
God.
heard good things about it, but Taylor and Kyla hated it.
I don't know. I imagine those burgers have got to be dry AF.
Oh,
But
did
we'll
I
find
got
out.
the flatbread and it was gross, but it was like kind of like the end of a tray. And I forget what Kyla got, but I think she
She
just
got
didn't
like a
like what it was. It was
sauerkraut burger. Yeah. She
A
yeah,
picked the
so I think
weirdest
sauerkraut
it
burger.
might
burger.
have
That
just
sounds good.
Can we play a small little quick game?
Okay.
If you could remove one restaurant from Cedar Point and have it be replaced with, like, it doesn't have to be the same vein, but like a new restaurant goes in its place, what are you picking? And I have passionate thoughts about this.
Chicky and Pete's.
Melt. No, you leave Chicky and Pete's alone.
Okay, first of all, nobody tell Laurel that Larry said melt because she will never want to be on this podcast.
There are melts
Actually,
at every lifestyle mall in the country. Why do you? It's a
we can
weird thing to have at Cedar Point, I think.
because then Kings Island has Tommy and Chi. Can we get at least the fancy grilled cheeses on the meal plan if they're gonna have
Yes,
these?
please.
I
Yes.
want
I
the like
want to get
whatever the fancy
rid
one is.
I
Sorry.
want to get rid of coasters. The 50s
I've never
diner
eaten
right
there. Why?
I've
It's
had
cool looking.
there's no seating in there. There's
Yeah,
always a line pouring out into the midway. It's in prime real estate.
and it's mid.
And it's not great. So like you could just do so much better with that space and
But it's such a
yeah.
Cedar Fair. Like they have one of those at Knott's. They have something
They have
similar
one.
at. Yeah.
They just need to improve the quality. Like Kings Island had the Screamin' Weenie for like the 50th last year at theirs, and Josh, don't
The
don't.
screaming
I'm not
It
even
weenie.
was
being
good.
childish. It's just a funny name.
Yeah, I
It
don't think they should have
is.
gone with that name.
But it was good because it was like a spicy hot dog, and it was good. And then otherwise, that place I won't
The
eat it.
screaming weenie. Yes, could I have one screaming weenie, please?
Actually,
I
you know what
refuse
Cedar
to
Point,
say it.
you know
Yeah.
what I would
When
drop
I
in
ordered
place
it.
of coasters?
What?
Something similar to Potato Works, like a grab and go
Yes.
specialty fries. Why don't you like Potato Works?
I guess I shouldn't really. I don't really eat at Potato Works, so I shouldn't really say. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, let's get a meal made out of French fries.
Have you ever?
What I'm fine
You've never
with.
been to Canada. Poutine is a
I know.
wonderful
Yeah, I've
thing.
had poutine before.
I've
It is
had
good.
poutine. Never been to Canada. Next, Larry, what's
I've
your
been
thing?
to
Yeah.
Canada.
Hey,
How you didn't have a passport until like a week
You
ago?
didn't need a passport to go to Canada
Okay,
when I was
that's
a
true.
kid.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, I've been to Canada multiple times.
Did you get your passport, by the way?
No, I haven't. It hasn't arrived.
Oh, okay,
Taken care
but
of
it got
yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So okay, so I guess that brings it. Oh wait, any other food related thoughts?
we're on an
Anyone?
hour, Larry. Go.
Okay. So yeah, one thing I really want to see is I really want to see a return to thrill rides at the Cedar at the whole chain as a whole. Right now, the focus has been a lot on smaller things and kind of area refreshes, which makes perfect sense given the economic climate. But I would really like to see some big, I want to see the next like Fury or something
Yeah.
happen somewhere throughout the chain within the next 5 years or so.
See, that plays very well off one of my points, but kind of contradictory. I kind of want to see a distribution of wealth across the chain, at least at first. There's a lot of parks in the chain
I
that
think that's
have
what's going
not
to
had
happen.
love.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do.
And I think Cedar Fair was already Sprite. Cedar Fair was already playing off that with Worlds of Fun and Dorney, and rumors for Valley Fair and Michigan's Adventure possibly. But I kind of want to see it like tone down how much you're spending at the big parks for 5 or so years and distribute that money kind of like still spend more on the big parks, but like if you take the peak from up here, lower it here, and then take this chunk and kind of spread it out across the chain. even if it's not major ride investments, like clean up the parks, make them prettier, give them something, even if it's like a world class flat, like something.
Right. I
Well,
feel like you're
even
describing what they're doing right now, right? I mean, that's
Not
kind
Six
of what they're
Flags,
doing.
that's for sure.
Well, yeah, but they're
yeah,
not one company yet. But like that, yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do because it makes a lot of sense to do it right now when it doesn't. Like we're at a time where I think from a business standpoint, companies aren't spending, they're not making huge investments like Orion right now. And that's not
right.
even just the theme park industry. That's like the gaming industry and like everybody's cutting back. So I think eventually though, yeah, I want them to go back to that.
I want to
I think they
clarify because
will.
I know people will be upset, not upset, tactical in the comments. Of course, not everybody is coming back. Rockstar is spending $2 billion on GTA 6. Intamin and Six Flags Qiddiya are spending however much, but overall across
Oh,
the industry,
well,
there
that
is
would
a
just be a
large cutback.
ridiculous point in a year where like tons of studios have shuttered and people
Well,
have
of
been laid
course,
off.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
and of
saying
course, Six
the
Flags. Yeah,
average across
yeah,
the industry, as
yeah,
I there, yes,
yeah,
I agree with Larry
yeah.
in that.
No, of course. Like, yeah, Rockstar is always going to rockstar, uh, like rock stars. But yeah, so that's kind of one thing I'm hoping to see. It's been for me. I mean, if you came from like the 2018 2019 era, that was when I started getting really into this. Now just feels like such a joke. Like every time they do the announcements at the end of the season, it's just like wow. Like compared to what it was. I mean, you think like 2019, like think of all the stuff that got announced then, and then now it's like here's some family rides everywhere.
I think a family renaissance was needed.
Yeah,
I
all the family
understand what
rides
you're
are old.
saying, but
uh,
I think the family renaissance we're seeing is a result of the early 2000s. Everybody needed the biggest, fastest, tallest,
right.
most ball breaking ride in the world. And like nobody really invested in family rides for a solid 10 to 20 years. So now most parks' biggest gap in their lineup is not in the thrill section. Everybody has a thrill coaster,
Yeah.
but not everybody has like a decent quality family coaster that's not about to fall apart.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the parks that are getting family coasters already had plenty. But
So
yeah, I
some
take
of
I
them
take your I
definitely.
take your point. But yeah, so like, and this isn't me. Keep in mind, what I'm saying is I want to see them circle back around. Not that like they shouldn't build all
Okay,
this stuff.
okay, I got you. I got you.
So yeah, like I think right now it makes perfect sense because of just the economic climate. Like this is the perfect time. If you're trying to make sure that you're not spending too much, you have these things that you need to take care of, these housekeeping tasks like fixing up the kids area at Kings Island, like things that you need to do. They did the exact same kind of thing the last time there was kind of an economic downturn, you know? So it makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, that's just something I'd like to see. Any other thoughts on that?
No.
Anybody? Taylor. Let's circle back around.
I thought Josh was just like, I'm done. Bye, guys. Josh, put the lightsaber down.
Josh.
Siri, turn off
Okay.
the lights in the office.
Okay. Well, while Josh is
Nice.
doing,
What's going on right now?
I don't know. Can we get some more affordable merch and better merch? I think Kings Island was low key killing it this year.
Yes.
But they could do better. I want made the
Yeah.
thrill shirts at Kings Island because the Cedar Point ones are amazing. I want Dorney had really good haunt merch.
Yes. Well, I
I
don't
just
know
want
why I
everywhere
said
to have
yes to
really
that.
good merch.
Preach. I so agree with you. I had I mean, yeah, Kings Island and Cedar Point. I can go through the merch, like the merch stores at either of those parks and find something that I want. But you go to Carowinds or King's Dominion or some of these other parks, they don't have merch. They don't have good merch.
I-305 merch.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes when I find merch I like, it's like $50 for a shirt, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm
Yep.
good.
Josh,
But
what
if they
park
made
was it that we found like the $100 hoodie?
what?
And
Was
it
it
wasn't even that
BGW?
nice. What was it?
Was
What
it BGW?
I that would be my first instinct, but I feel like it was like a pullover that had the Twisted Timbers logo on it, and it was $100.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, it was North Face or Columbia. I don't remember which one, but
Yeah, it was
still,
a brand name.
yeah.
What, Taylor?
Stop doing Under Armour Nike things. I don't want Under Armour
Yes,
Nike Park merch. I don't want to. No, like
a
that
lot of it
store
isn't even
Coaster Connections
merch.
at Action Zone. Stop it. Get rid of it. I mean, you don't have to get rid of it, but like,
Carowinds straight up has a store that is just like Under Armour shirts and pants. It's not even
I
well.
can one up that.
What's that?
Cedar Point literally has a whole section in Speed Zone to sell Vans.
oh yeah, they do.
They
Just Van
do?
shoes, just Van shoes right in Speed Zone. Like a whole section, like a mini shoe store.
How long has that been there?
At least the last 2 years.
Oh, I never noticed it. never noticed
To be
it.
fair, you probably haven't been in Speed Zone for the last however long because it's been pretty much only used for a haunt, I think.
Okay, wait. Is Speed Zone the shop that was right across from Top Tool
Yes.
Dragster? What's okay? And that was but it used to be a store that just sold like merch, right?
It still is, technically. They just also have a van section.
Who buys shoes at a theme park?
I could imagine
People whose shoes melt.
Are they
people
like
whose shoes fall off. But like
yeah?
me and El Toro Ryan had a joke about it where it's like, gotta go back to school shopping. Let's go to Cedar Point and buy my shoes,
Yeah.
Mom.
Do they at least have like are they at least like Steel Vengeance vans?
I think they are just like
That would be cool.
vans.
That would be cool. I'd
They
buy
should
Raptor
do.
vans.
Those would cost $500 and you know it.
They would. They
Yeah.
would cost a lot. Better merch. I'm with you. I'm
Better
with you.
merch.
Chain wide.
I agree.
All right.
Everyone get good merch.
Larry,
more
I think
Salt
that
Life
leaves
merch.
you for the last one before we head into questions.
You're counting.
Yeah, we kind of.
Okay.
Josh,
all right.
if you want to hit on that more, you can. I just
So
figured
Josh's
you kind of
other
already.
one, was the
It-
spreading out the spending. I'm on the. Well, they're gonna have to, right? I mean, they're gonna have to do that, don't you think?
It's either that or purge parks. I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to
Yeah.
invest or do you want to sell? Is what it's going to come down to, really.
Because I mean, this is already because I think what you're saying like goes right into the strategy that the CEO has been saying he wanted to pursue. Right.
I mean, this might sound terrible, but the big theory is that they're merging to delay debt, right?
Mhm.
So if merge gets approved and then you take on a bunch more debt as a risk, what's the worst that happens? You declare bankruptcy, and as a corporation, that effectively means nothing. You get
Right.
bailed out most of the time anyway. So, like, why not invest at this point? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Cedar Fair tends to be pretty conservative, so we'll see.
well, the
how they handle
chairman
it.
is Salim, so I don't know what's going to happen.
So he's okay. Wait a minute. So he's actually above Zimmerman.
He
I
is
thought it was the other way
executive
around.
He is the executive chairman of a board comprised half of Cedar Fair, half of Six Flags chairman. So he's not directly above Zimmerman per se. He is the head of the board that is above Zimmerman.
Right.
So Zimmerman has to answer to the board,
Okay.
but it's not like Salim is his direct
Is Zimmerman
boss.
on the board?
I don't.
Zimmerman's
think
on the board.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
I'm
he?
not-
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh wait,
So,
no,
I mean,
never mind.
He's not on the
I
board.
don't think. Never mind.
don't
I had
think
people
so.
confused.
Okay, well, whatever. Corporate structure, blah blah blah. Okay, well, hopefully it works out the way you want it to. The other thing that I had on here is I really do want to see, even though they've got all this this IP now through the merger, I really want to see them continue on this path they have with the Cedar Fair parks of kind of giving areas of the park lore. I think they've done a really good job of it at Kings Island, like connecting the areas and things that, all the stuff that people think are Son of Beast teasers, things like that, like
Yeah.
just really connecting everything together. Really, really like that. Dorney, Ryan's doing a good job with that stuff and connecting this ride, Iron Menace, the new dive coaster at Dorney, connecting that with like some piece of theming at Knott's Berry Farm. I love that stuff. I really want them to keep doing that.
McTavish.
McTavish. What's the
McTavish.
what's the name? Hiram McTavish.
Hiram. I didn't want to say
Hiram
it wrong.
McTavish.
Also,
Is
I
it
don't think it
Hiram?
was Ryan's idea. It was somebody else's idea. I just can't think of the guy's name right now. But everybody, as soon as
How did
he
you know
said it, was
that?
on board with it. Because he
Didn't
said
he
it
tell us
when we
that when we
interviewed
interviewed
him.
him?
What did he say?
God, Larry. He like quickly broke down. I think we asked him like, Hiram is at Knott's, obviously. Like, is that going to tie in? And it was basically like, whoever it was, and I also don't remember the name. I feel terrible, but like they came to us and were like, "Hey, Hiram McTavish is at."
Right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then it just kind of
Well, yeah.
happily
So
came together.
share the love of the credit can go around to multiple people. Whatever it is, they're doing a great job with that. I
Fair.
want to see more of it. Yep. So
I agree. I think. Side note: Dorney is nailing it across the board with all things. Like they're investing very well. Their social media is probably the best in the chain, I would say, and I don't think that's
yes.
really that controversial.
No, it's like
Um,
not close.
they're finally getting the love they deserve in terms of like from Daddy Cedar Fair,
Yeah.
and redistributing. Like I said, redistributing. They gave all their money to their water park for 10 years, and they finally struck a balance. It seems like the people in charge at Dorney love the park and love working with Cedar Fair and love working with their manufacturers to make sure everything's good. Like Dorney is in a great place right now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Fantastic.
And I think that like that's exactly the kind of it's the only park in the Cedar Fair chain where the interacting on Twitter seems like what some of the other parks are doing so well with. Like
It's the only one that seems genuine and not
yeah.
forced corporate.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and
It reminds me of like Silver Dollar City and
They have
Kentucky
a lot of
Kingdom
fun with
prior
it.
to the
I'll
acquisition.
say well, when I think of Cedar Fair parks on social media, I think of, and this is the order that I rank them in, um, Dorney, Kings Island, touching my floor here, Cedar Point. Those are really the only three. Like
Yes.
Dorney and Kings Island are both up there in terms of engagement, in terms of content. Um, Obviously, we mentioned earlier that our friend is running the Kings Island account, so I don't want to glaze her too hard. But like she stepped into that position, she took it in stride. In my
Yeah.
opinion, they are
Well, you can tell that she
improving.
loves the park.
Yes,
Right.
and
And it
and
does feel that you can tell the difference. It doesn't
yes,
feel as like stiff.
as when I say corporate social media, I'm not including um, King's Dominion as well. Also has a presence. They're not as pronounced, in my opinion, but Cedar Point is so stuffy, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's just
Tony's being a
yeah.
little bit more interactive, and I want to give him some props for that. He's
Mm,
a little bit.
no.
I know you guys have your opinions, but I'm
No.
happy to see him being a little bit more interactive,
I've seen
even
him
though
be snippy to people. He gets so mad when anybody complains about the process for winter chill out. I don't know why.
because I
That's
mean,
his
if you got asked
sensitive.
the same question 400 times a day, would you not be like, "Oh my god"?
That's what he gets paid
Hey,
for.
my job is being asked the same question 400 times a day, and
Yeah.
you
My
know what I
job is
do?
too. I get
And you know
annoyed.
what I do? I get annoyed, but I suck it up and I smile. And at the end of the interaction, I say, "Have a great day."
Yeah. What you don't do is go like, well, I know what I'm talking about, and that's why I do it this way. Smiley face. You know what I mean?
Fair.
He does. He has responses like that. Anyway, sorry,
Does.
Tony. You're great. So yeah,
Shout out to Ryan at Dorney Park.
shout out to Ryan
Shout out
Dorney
to
Park.
Ryan.
But yeah,
Well, yeah. Any
yeah.
other anything else about the CF lore? Any other thoughts on that and just that as opposed to plastering IPs all over the place?
That's a
Yeah.
whole other thing we could talk about
Well,
with
that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Can
Like,
we
but
just
keep
not do
going with
that?
that.
but
Yeah.
what I mean by a whole other thing we could talk about is like theory crafting. What is going to happen with the IPs?
Do you
I hope
mean?
nothing. I hope they just go
Oh,
away.
you mean like which ones? Which
Like
specifically? What do you mean?
like will Banshee become Batman?
Oh, God,
No.
I hope not.
I also hope not.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation that we should probably have
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that'll happen if it does, if things like that come around. I think it'll be a while from now. But yeah. God, I hope not. Don't give me nightmares.
We'll talk about that
Yeah.
another time.
It's
We're
almost
already at an hour
bedtime.
20. We got questions to
We've got
answer.
questions, and the first one comes from Kev. I'm assuming this is friend of the podcast, Cedar Kev. Is that correct, Taylor?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, it
This
is.
is Kev. All right.
I don't know
What?
why I didn't put Cedar Kev.
You never
Hi,
do.
Cedar Kev. What 2024 coaster do you think is going to be a sleeper hit?
I feel
Take it
like
away,
we've
Josh.
talked about this before.
Oh, me? Sleeper hit? Probably Bobcat.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
It's slim pickings. Is that Hot Wheels coaster gonna open
that
this
was
year?
my next answer.
Yeah.
It's supposed to. That was my next answer.
Mhm.
I don't think Codaland is gonna open. What's their tilt coaster called? Circuit Breaker this year.
Mhm.
Top Thrill 2. You could argue Top Thrill 2 is a sleeper hit because everybody
You
hated
could,
on it when
yeah.
it was announced.
But
But I
it's
think
gonna
that's
be
too high
so
profile.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
about
think
that?
your only options are like Phoenix Rising, which I don't think is going to be a sleeper hit.
No.
It's going to be a sleeper
It was
out
good.
with a
It
whimper.
was all right.
Penguin Trek, maybe B&M's first family multi-launch.
Yeah, it
Could
could
see
be.
that.
I mean,
I
it
hope to
looks
ride
neat.
that. I'm going to be at SeaWorld in May. I hope it's open by then.
I can never remember the name of this coaster. But what about that? Oh my God, what is this thing even called?
Taylor
The
drinking
You know where
Dash.
it is?
Oh,
Vertical
Flash Vertical
Velocity?
Velocity.
Yeah, vertical
I
velocity.
could see
Keep forgetting
that.
about that.
I think that one, similar to Top Thrill 2, people are gonna go on it and they're gonna love it, but they're gonna be like, actually, the capacity makes this ride non-rideable. And we're gonna be like, dude, you just
non-rideable.
you just marathoned it 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could have ridden El Toro 6 times during the same amount. So actually, Flash Vertical Velocity was an ass investment.
I think it's gonna be cool.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that one, so I changed my answer to that one because I
I'll
don't
go
think
with
I've heard
Penguin
anything
Trek.
about it since it was announced.
Well, what's there to hear? I don't think it's broken ground yet. I don't think they've necessarily poured
what is the
footers yet.
name of that model again?
Super
The
Boomerang?
Super Boomerang?
Super Boomerang. Thank you. It was driving me nuts. Okay. All right. Any other sleeper hit potential answers?
Is there anything overseas? The only one I'm really aware of overseas is Hyperia, but I don't think it's.
Oh, yeah, that's not a sleeper hit though.
Yeah.
That's
Epic Universe doesn't open till next year. There's not any Disney coasters that could be slept on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that we got it. I think we got it. I like the Flash vertical. I'm gonna forget the name of that coaster again. But yeah, that one. I like that answer.
There's gonna be something I'm gonna remember.
Yeah,
like right after.
stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, something really obvious that we're gonna be embarrassed about.
No, that's not gonna be a sleeper hit.
No, you should just tweet it with no context during the week before this comes out.
I was gonna say the drift coaster going to Universal Studios, but that's not gonna be a sleeper hit.
The drift coaster.
The multi-launch that Hollywood is allegedly getting.
Okay.
But that's going to be a high-profile coaster. Right. So
yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we've got a really important question, and it's from Coaster Conquest. Hi, Chris. It is: who is your favorite Backstreet Boy?
I want it that way.
Tell me why. Oh, I can't. Oh,
it was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Joey Fatone.
What?
That's or is that not a Backstreet Boy? Is that? Don't tell me.
I don't think that's a Backstreet Boy.
Holy crap! No.
I don't know any of these people.
No, I think he is NSYNC. I think he's NSYNC.
I think he's NSYNC.
I'm
looking at the people in Backstreet Boys right now.
Oh my god, none of them are famous anymore.
Aren't they touring again soon?
I think they are.
I think so.
Nobody like the only name I
they're
recognize.
Playing Cancun, Mexico. The
The
Ted
only
Cruz
name I
concert.
recognize is Nick Carter. Everyone
Yeah, me
else
too.
is
I
just
agree.
holy crap. I guess Nick Carter. Although I kind of
I'm
like
gonna
My
the
go with Nick.
default.
AJ McLean guy's glasses in this picture.
Are
Yeah.
they the yellow ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I
Um.
guess NSYNC really was the better band, I guess. Because
Well,
I
better at
can,
marketing at least.
yeah.
Ah.
At the time,
Like,
they felt like the discount Backstreet Boys.
Just like Six Flags felt like the discount Cedar Fair chain.
Yeah.
On this episode of Quad Down Pod.
Taylor, who's your favorite Backstreet Boy? Who's your favorite
I'm
one?
gonna go with AJ McLean because I like this picture of him. I guess I don't know. I like his yellow shirt.
I like that picture a lot. Yeah. He looks like evil Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go
So I'll go
with
with him.
I'm gonna go with Travis Barker because he'll feature on anybody's songs now. So if Backstreet Boys came out with a new song, I wouldn't be surprised.
No,
if
you
it was
can't
Travis
do
Barker
that.
featuring.
Okay,
You
yep,
can't
that's
do
a good
that.
answer,
That's me
Josh.
saying that I don't know any of the Backstreet Boys.
I
Oh
don't
my
know any of the
gosh.
Backstreet Boys.
Ugh.
I'm sorry, Chris.
I was
It's-
never a fan of the Backstreet Boys. Sorry, Chris. All right, let's see. We've got the next question. It's from Dawson. Assign
Yay.
your favorite band a roller coaster. What is that? Is that you, Josh?
Oh, sorry,
It's
didn't
gotta
know
be
you
you.
could do
Okay.
that.
Assign your favorite band a roller coaster and provide one song to listen to during the ride.
I mean, my favorite band is called Reliant K. They have a song called Chapstick Chaplix and Things Like Chemistry, which is about being a teenager and going to an amusement park with your friends. And one of the lines is, "And I lost my phone to the lake beneath the Batman ride." I looked it up, and the only Batman clone that was open that has a body of water under it when that song came out was Great America, which makes sense because the band is from Canton, Ohio. So I guess uh, so I guess Reliant K, Six Flags, Great America's Batman clone, and the song is Chapstick Chapless and Things Like Chemistry, which was also on the Drake and Josh soundtrack, even though it was never in the show.
Okay.
Okay, excellent answer. All right, Taylor.
Okay, so mine is horrible. My favorite band's My Chemical Romance, and my favorite song to drive to by My Chemical Romance is Dead because it's just very fast and very
That's a good
fun.
song.
So that would be my roller coaster one too. I
And
just feel
when
like
your
most
heart
people would
stops
not.
beating.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there's a better My Chem song for any roller coaster.
Is there you gonna say na 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 na?
Yes!
That was my other choice, but I was
Imagine,
like, no, Dead's just
like-
more fun.
Imagine like you're on Stormrunner's launch track and it rolls back, and 3, 2, 1. Na 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 na
No,
na na na
and
na.
as you're rolling back, it's doing the 109 and the
Exactly,
109
exactly.
5 and the pigs won't quit, like that
Yes.
whole section while you do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That'd be amazing.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go. So my favorite band is Radiohead.
Okay.
And I think I would do Flight of Fear because it's indoor and it would be Idiotech, the song Idiotech with
You know-
a laser show.
Can I
I think that would be cool.
hop in on this and double down?
Okay.
Did you see Guardians 3?
I have not seen it yet. No.
Guardians 3 opens with Rocket listening to Creep by Radiohead. So I'm imagining the Guardians ride at Epcot with I'm a creep. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That would be
similar
good.
vibe,
That'd be
indoor
good.
light show. Yeah.
I should have said Guardians of the Galaxy. I was just trying to think of an indoor roller coaster that's not Space Mountain.
You can say Guardians of the Galaxy because I forgot to assign my Kim a ride, so I will assign them to Flight of Fear.
And
you
you're
can't-
giving it dead because whenever
can't-
somebody gets
you
off
can't
Flight
do-
of Fear,
you
they
can't
feel like they're
steal
dead.
my roller
I
coaster.
can steal your roller coaster if I want to. You want to go
Alright.
back to Guardians.
It's fine, but it's not Guardians anymore. It's
Laugh track.
It's a Radiohead thing.
Laugh
Okay.
track at Hershey Park.
Actually-
Thank you for the question, Dawson. Let's see. Alyssa, if
Elisa?
you could, is it Elisa?
I have no idea.
No, it's Alyssa. It's my mom.
It's Alyssa.
Oh.
It's Alyssa.
Hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Taylor's mom. If you could
Hi, Mom.
retheme one area of KI, where would you retheme and what would you do? I've got an answer for this one. It's a
I think we all
layup.
have the same answer.
Yeah,
What?
probably.
Action zone.
We're going action zone.
Action
We're
zone.
going spooky. We're going spooky. We've got the
Spooky.
bat. We've got Banshee.
Yeah.
Spooky.
I want it subtle spooky. Like I want it to be like a forest, but like everything is actually
Yeah.
spooky. But we
Yeah,
we don't
call
call
like
it
the
spooky
Black
forest.
Forest or something like
Yeah.
that. You know?
Something
Or
like that.
the Forest of Illusions.
Oh, it's a magician's area now.
Yeah. No. Well, it could be partially.
Larry's scared of magicians.
And that is it. Does anybody have any final thoughts they would like to share?
Yeah, I have a final thought. You have to ask us questions.
Oh.
Yeah, come on, Larry.
Okay.
Oh, you disdained?
Okay, Josh,
That's
I got
me.
a question for you. Theme park pizza or school lunch pizza? Which one is worse?
Oh, school lunch.
Yeah, it is. It's way worse. All right.
The gratification you got in my answer.
Yes. All right. I gotta think of something for Taylor. And I think I've run out of Flight of Fear questions. So let's see.
There's never enough Flight of Fear.
What's that?
No, there's never enough Flight of Fear.
No.
We'll come up with something.
Okay. Okay. When Flight of Fear closes, which is inevitable, what do you want them to do with that space?
No, that's exactly what I was going to ask you for your closing question.
So we're gonna now make it a new launch coaster, also themed to aliens, but we'll call it
Flight of Fear 2.
Flight of
The
Disillusionment.
Okay.
I don't know
Flight of Anxiety.
This
Flight of
roller coaster will be
anxiety.
disappointing. Flight of Disillusion.
I was trying. I was trying.
That's funny.
Find
A synonym for
cinnamon
fear.
for
Yeah.
fear.
A cinnamon. A cinnamon.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. So
I
actually,
need
Flight of Cinnamon.
one
now?
cinnamon, please, sir.
We need to bring up, because Taylor discovered something this week. Apparently.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. What is it?
What
have
is
we-
this?
So we were what were we looking up for Backlot Stunt
We were
Coaster
trying to
when
find
it
out if
opened?
Backlot Stone Coaster opened with the park that year.
Yes. Okay. So and I couldn't figure
do
out
you
what
wanna
year.
explain why we were trying to figure that out?
Because Taylor was finding other times where the park didn't open stuff on time.
Yes.
That's a
So
the
I was
park
trying to
did.
Sure.
if it opened with the park, and I couldn't figure out what day the park opened that year. But apparently, the park used to open later because in 2011, the park didn't open until April 30th. But that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, so I was like going through the coaster wiki for Backlot Stunt Coaster, and it says Kings Island. The history is like the theme is something about you've escaped Area 72,
Yeah,
and
you
now the
stole
feds are
alien
on your
technology.
trail
Yeah.
for stealing alien technology. And I'm like, it's a backlot stunt
Yeah.
coaster.
But you
It's
know what,
a
though?
theme to the Italian Job.
Josh, that's very similar to our idea for the retheme for Flight of Fear. But they should do this. Or at least put some allusion to it in the queue, I think. Because it's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, it is a good idea.
Yeah.
Connect it to something somehow.
Yeah. I think that's
All I
great. Connecting it to Area 72 is great. I love it. All right, Josh, is it so you're asking me a question now?
I sure am. Okay, if you could only live in one state and only ride roller coasters in that state for the rest of your life, what state are you picking?
Ohio.
I honestly think that's an L take, but okay.
I'm not going to Pennsylvania, man. I'm not.
Why?
Because I'm not gonna have to pay tolls every time I get on the highway.
There's ways around Pennsylvania without tolls.
No,
Thinking about it this
Pennsylvania.
way,
I don't think Ohio is an L take. Ohio is a perfectly acceptable take.
I think it's a top 3 take, maybe top 4.
yeah.
I'm not going to Florida. I'm not going to live there.
That's
And
other reasons aside.
Pennsylvania, I think I would find remarkably similar to Ohio, but I would really miss Kings Island and Cedar Point a lot, even though Hershey is arguably
better than both.
Better than both.
Arguably.
Yeah.
Arguably. Taylor, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I've been thinking about it this way. If I take that extra hour to avoid the toll to get to Hershey or Dorney, I'm spending that exact same money in gas as I am paying the toll. So I'm like, I
No,
might as
you're
well
not.
just save the hour. Yes, I am. Gas is expensive.
It costs over $50 to get across Pennsylvania on toll road.
No, not for when I'm going to Hershey and Dorney. It's $20.
Oh, because you get off at Hershey. Not okay. Yes, you're right.
Yes, I'm not driving all the way through.
You know, Virginia would be, I think, an acceptable answer too.
Virginia is a good answer.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has more. Like, they have Leap the Dips in Altoona. They have Knoebels. They have, like, a lot more
of classics.
Dutch Wonderland. Like, a lot of small parks you can mix up. I feel like Virginia doesn't have that range.
Yeah, Pennsylvania would be a very good answer.
That's my problem with Ohio. Is like Cedar Point and Kings Island are world class, but once you get outside of there, it's like a barren wasteland.
You don't have anything
Whereas
else.
Pennsylvania has.
We don't have any. Yeah, we don't
exactly.
Have
you have what is it? Stricker's Grove? Is that what it's called? It's open like
it's
3
open
days
4 days a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
we've
then
got a smattering of like one-off credits. But,
like the Scene 75s.
It would just be really
the
hard.
Columbus Zoo.
It's because you put in that you can only go to parks from that state. And like, it would be really hard for me never to go to Cedar Point or Kings Island again. I'd be sad about that.
I feel like that conversation gets a lot more interesting if we add like a 1 hour buffer on either side of the border. So like you could go, if you're in Pennsylvania, you could go to Great Adventure, for example, because you can get to Great Adventure within an hour.
Oh, well, then Pennsylvania would be the best answer, because then you would have you would be able to go to Cedar Point. You'd be able to go to all the parks in Pennsylvania and Great Adventure.
You can maybe get to Darien Lake.
Yeah, that would be the best answer then. So Florida would be a great answer if Florida wasn't a
Florida. We're just gonna leave it at if it wasn't Florida.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons to hate Florida.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna dive into those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, so I believe that is our show for today. So thank you so much for giving us a listen here. Orion's a Giga.
Orion's a Giga.
Orion's a Giga.
Quad down out.
Why are you shooting them?
Larry?
Quad down out.